35-25. Long pass to Chambers is behind the back.
Did you ever think in your wildest dreams? I guess
KJ to Chambers. Jam!
40 points in the first half for Tom Chambers.
Chambers to win the game. He's got it.
Welcome back to Tom Chambers' Greatest Games. In this episode, we go back to April 1989 with the Phoenix Suns playing the San Antonio Spurs. With the Suns now 26-0 at home versus Western Conference teams, the Suns would face a struggling Spurs team to extend their win streak. The Suns would get off to a hot start with Chambers racking up 17 points in the first quarter and 24 by the half, with the Suns leading by 30. Suns legend and future Hall of Famer Paul Westphal would be honored during halftime with a jersey retirement ceremony. Chambers would start the second half where he left off and would leave the game in the third quarter after having scored 38 points in just 28 minutes of play in what would become a new Suns club record 46-point blowout win. Kevin Johnson would also have a great game with 21 points and 20 assists. Chambers would be named MVP of the game by the Spurs broadcasters as the Suns set the tone for the upcoming playoffs. So let's go back to April 15th, 1989, the Phoenix Suns versus the San Antonio Spurs.
And we're happy to have you with us for another simulcast. My name is Dave Barnett. Spurs taking on what to the Western Conference this year would have to be what Milwaukee has been to the Eastern Conference, a team that has literally come out of nowhere. Phoenix is 51-26 for the year. That's the exact opposite of where they were at this time a year ago. They were 26-51, and in one season, because of a key free agency signing that we'll talk about later and a big trade that actually happened last year with Cleveland, they have become the first team in 5 years to really be on the Lakers' tail late in the season with just a week to go in the regular campaign. They trail the Lakers by only a game and a half. They have the longest current streak going in the NBA along with Atlanta, 6 straight wins, and they have yet to lose on this floor to anybody in the Western Conference this year, 26-0 against their conference opponents. Unrestricted free agent signee in the history of the NBA, and has he ever paid off? He's their leading scorer and rebounder this year. 25.7 points per game. That's a career high. 8.5 rebounds per game. He is their catalyst, and he can play all three up front positions. Kevin Johnson, also a major cog in their turnaround. He may win the Most Improved Player award this year. Very deservedly so if he does. He's trying to be the 5th man in history to have 20 points and 10 assists per game in just his second NBA season. The other Johnson, Eddie Johnson, may be an award winner himself. He may be the best 6th man in the league this year. He is the top scorer off the bench of the NBA at 21.7 points per game. This is the top offensive team, period. They average better than 118 points per game. It is hard to find a weakness when you try and play defense against this club.
At forward from Georgia, number 40, Willie Anderson. At forward from Michigan State University, number 31, Jay Vincent. At center from Canisius, number 52, Mike Smrek. At guard from Oklahoma, number 25, Anthony Bowie. At guard from Arkansas, number 21, Alvin Robertson. Injured and not playing tonight, Frank Rakowski. Not with the team, Vernon Maxwell. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with head coach Cotton Fitzsimmons, assistant coaches Paul Westphal and Lionel Holland, the trainer Bro Koski, here's the starting lineup for your Phoenix Suns. Forward from Utah, number 24, Tom Chambers. Forward from the ball, number 23, Corbin. At center, the Old Dominion, number 41, Mark West. At guard from Iowa State, number 14, Jeff Hornacek. And at guard from California, number 7, KJ Dunn.
and all kinds of offense. This Phoenix team leads the NBA at 118.3 per game. They are fourth in shooting. They have 4 different players. All of them have had at least 40 points this year. That'll give you an idea of the individual explosiveness that this team possesses in its first year of the second tour of duty for Cotton Fitzsimmons. West wins the tap to Hornacek to Chambers, and on a set alley-oop he couldn't jam it in. Robertson will bring it up for the Spurs. Alvin, met by Hornacek, gives to the trailer, and Mike Smrek airballs a jam, if you can believe that. Tyrone Corbin brings it up, but Corbin is there for the rebound. Down low to Chambers, double clutches, and banks it in. First 2 by Chambers, 8-8 game. 10th of the second. Johnson circling left side against Anthony Bowie behind the Tom Chambers screen. Back the other way behind the pick. Finally gives to Chambers. Drives it in deep. Scoop up and in. He is too quick for most big forwards. Too big for most small forwards. 10-8 Phoenix. Good. Rebound by Alvin Robertson. Taken away by Johnson. He never saw it. Johnson feet ahead to Chambers. Runs right into the waiting defender. Cadillac Anderson. Count the basket for Chambers. And the blocking foul called. 3-point plays. 85% at the line this year. Outstanding free throw shooting team. Everybody on Phoenix, for the most part, is a pretty good threat at the line, with the exception of West. And the free throw good. Making the most of his opportunity. Left jumper good again by Chambers. He has heated up for 9 first period points. Michael Anderson, good screen. Johnson's 18-footer, no good. Off to the left, rebound Comegys, but they will, I believe, get him for pushing off on Chambers against the team. Chambers flying out of bounds that time, and actually the push came from Greg Anderson. Off 27 points, 13 rebounds in their victory at Houston. They're coming off a great road trip. 4 wins in some tough places. Seattle, Houston, Dallas, and also the LA Clippers. First free throw good. So their road record now up to 18-21. That is triple the number of road wins all of last year. Just across the board, they have far exceeded everything from last year. And the second free throw also in for Chambers. Anderson to double. Ball up high to Chambers. Feeding the low post to West. Left hand hook. He'll rattle it in. Mark West doesn't shoot that often, but so a timeout. 2:33 to go in the first. 25-17 in favor of the Suns, and will continue in a moment. There for the rebound, but a good move to get that shot by Comegys. Something he's worked on. Long pass. Chambers jam. Nobody picked him up. 13 in the period for Tom Chambers. Is back on. Johnson to the lane. Kevin Johnson all the way. Lays it home. In the middle. Feed to the right side of Chambers. He's fouled by Scott Roth. What Roth did well was make sure that he had an arm on the shot that Chambers was trying to put up. He effectively got one arm on both of Chambers. So he'll go to the stripe again. He's 3 for 3 and make it 4-4. He seems to have shed the bad rap that he says anyway is a bad rap. The reputation of being selfish, being not a good man to play with, that followed him from the Clippers to Seattle. He says it's just a matter of having the right coach and the right type of team around him. Second free throw also good. I was never a bad guy. And now Michael Anderson loses it to Kevin Johnson underneath the Chambers for the jam. Looked like Spurs ball. All of a sudden here came Kevin Johnson, and that was the end of that, and it's a 16-point Phoenix lead with 12 seconds to go in the period. Michael Anderson dribbles it out to 8 seconds. Feed to the right wing to Roth. Bounce down low, Cadillac. The cutter is Michael Anderson. Nice double clutch and lays it in. What a move by Michael Anderson with 3 seconds. Inbounds to Eddie Johnson. A mid-court flyer off the back of the iron. About as close as you can come without hitting that shot. And with that, a Phoenix-dominated first period comes to a close. Before another sold-out house, they lead by 14. 35-21 Suns over the Spurs, and this is San Antonio Spurs basketball. And Jay has 6. Corbin trying to break back after the made bucket, lays it in, and Comegys had a hand on that. Kevin Johnson now picked up by Comegys. Miss on the baseline, rebound Gilliam. Feed ahead of the break to Kevin Johnson. Back to Gilliam, and lays it in. Majerle on the left wing, guarded by Robertson, down to the baseline, got around him all the way in, lays it up and in, and counted with another foul. Johnson, and Corbin picks it up ahead to Eddie Johnson. They're 3-on-1. It's Eddie all the way. The backhand reverse is good. What a crossover move by Eddie Johnson. Suns get Chambers back in. He had a 17-point first quarter, a long rest, as he now comes in for Tyrone Corbin. Lost the dribble to Kevin Johnson in the lane. Kevin with the steal back. Long pass, Marley. He will jam on Dallas Comegys. He's more sure on his release, but it's still not going. Kevin Johnson all the way through the lane to lay it in. Johnson inside feed. Marley to Chambers, left-hand hook. No good. But another whistle. Here's at the line. 17 points all in the first period by Chambers. 35 in the first meeting this year, and their loss at San Antonio, 28.5 on the average in the first two meetings this year. First free throw good. Smrek will replace Cadillac Anderson as Mark West returns to replace Armen Gilliam with a minute 54. Again, at halftime, they'll have a ceremony honoring one of the great Suns ever. They're retiring Paul Westphal's number 44. We'll bring you part of those proceedings as well. On West wants the baseline hook, throws it up, can't get it to go. Rebound Chambers off to Kevin Johnson. They'll crank up the break again. Johnson to the head of the key, launches over Willie, perfect. Well short of the intended man. Smrek, long pass ahead. Kevin Johnson, alley-oop. Chambers jams it in. First time tonight it's worked. They've tried it a bunch, and it finally went after the West steal. Perfectly thrown alley-oop. Kevin Johnson to Chambers, and an inside one-hander missed, rebounded by West, out to Kevin Johnson. Again to Chambers on the drive. Two more. 23 for Tom Chambers. 78-50 Suns. One motion ahead to Chambers. Into the middle, Kevin Johnson. Deep to the lane. Feed behind him. Chambers scoops short, but he'll go to the stripe with 10 seconds in the half. And they may not be finished with Chambers at the line. They get Mark West back out of there. And Andrew Lang, the rookie second-round pick from Arkansas, makes his first appearance. West out with 2 fouls. They didn't want him to pick up one more. Well, check that. It is Gilliam rather than Lang checking in. And Chambers misses the first. Club record for a half, by the way, 87 points. So they are within 7. First miss after 7 in a row by Chambers. A little bit like Adrian Dantley, takes forever and usually hits, as he does here. Really in no way is it upset. 81-51. Dallas missed it. Chambers with 3 seconds to rebound, and will he get a shot off in time? A running hook will be off to the right, and that will finally bring the first half to a close here at Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix. It has been an offensive blow-and-go show by the Suns. They lead 81-51 over the Spurs, and we'll return for halftime in a moment. This is Spurs basketball.
Hefner, also Don Crenshaw from that Southern Cal team, and Dana Padgett. And Dana, can we just ask you to step up here for a moment, if you would, please? As you know, anytime that Southern California is still in action, Paul Westphal was following that career very closely, and those were some good years for Southern Cal.
Yes, they were great years, and you know, it was always fun being on the same team with Paul, but I always kid him. I said the only reason he liked me on his team was because I'd pass it to him.
Well, he has a lot of fellows to thank for that. Dana, thank you, and thanks to you gentlemen representing Southern California here tonight. Well, I don't know if you can get the association of friendship with a professional athlete and a sports writer, but a number of years ago when Paul started his professional career in Boston, a young sports writer was starting his sports writer career in Boston. And since that time, Paul and Mike have, I know, maintained a very special friendship. Mike Lupica went on to further his sports writing career, as he now is a columnist for the New York Daily News. Many of us read his material all over the country, including Esquire magazine. And I would like to invite you to join me in bringing up the writer from the New York Daily News and a longtime friend of Paul's, Mike Lupica. Mike? I just want to ask you, Mike, when you first met Paul, did you interview him or did he interview you?
Well, I spoke about as briefly as I'm going to speak tonight, Al, because Paul thinks that sports writers should be seen and not heard. And the only thing I wanted to say is I swore to him I wouldn't say anything that wasn't true tonight. So I will tell you he's one of the best friends I ever had. The other thing I will tell you is that some people shoot their way to a night like this. Some people pass their way and some people rebound their way. Let's just say that Paul didn't pass and rebound his way here tonight. Paul, they saw you play. I am privileged to be a part of this. He's been as big a part of this community as he has been in my life. I know he's flattered by tonight, but I will tell you this, that he will never rest until the thing that they put up in the rafters of this building is an NBA championship banner. Thank you very much.
Mike Lupica. Thank you, Mike, very, very much. Mike Lupica, New York Daily News. Now we get closer to home and those great years with the Suns, and those 5 years when Paul was first here, of course, are ones we all remember. And these are familiar names and faces, but let me introduce them to you. Very happy to see Keith Erickson here from that 1975-76 team. Dennis Autry. Here's C.P. Curtis Perry, Truck Robinson, and Double-A Alvin Adams. Now, it hasn't been too long ago, Alvin, that we dropped that number 33 down from the ceiling, and as I do remember, Paul Westphal was here and he had a few things to say, and you now have equal time.
First of all, getting the chance to come up here and speak today reminds me exactly of that night when my ex-roommate of 6 years had the chance to get up and tell some untruths about me. The thing I remember best about Paul is the consistency as a player, as a scorer. Yeah, that was his strong point, scoring. But people talk about he wasn't a passer, but I know I never teamed with anybody better, whether I was throwing the ball to him or he was throwing the ball to me. Most of us, professional athletes, when we come up through the high school ranks, we're so good that we end up playing on maybe a varsity team when we're younger, maybe as a sophomore or junior. So throughout the early part of my career, I always played with guys a class or two older than me, and that was certainly the case when I came here. Being able to contribute as much as I did my first year, and being tutored by guys like Paul and Keith Erickson, I'll always remember the older guys helping me out. In the evening paper today, last thing, in the evening paper today I was reading something that Paul said. He's going to remember the good as well as the bad in his basketball career. Unfortunately, we do remember a lot of the bad, but let me just say that almost all of my good memories involve the years that I played and roomed with Paul Westphal. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvin. Alvin Adams. Nice to see a couple of roommates get together. And now, let me bring up the coach of the Suns, Cotton Fitzsimmons. Coach Cotton Fitzsimmons.
Thank you, Al. I'm happy to be a part of this. I loved Van Arsdale. I loved Hawkins. They helped me get a lot of victories. I wasn't too high on that group right over there. And I didn't like that guy at all. But I think that Alvin, they better send a couple more basketballs up there, though, because it looks like you are going to be the only passer up there right now. But I think it's ironic. I think it is fitting today that number 44 goes up there. He played on the first team of the Phoenix Suns that ever won 50 games. And he has had a great part in this group of guys down at the far end to win 51 games at this point. And Paul, I'd just like to say that I have enjoyed it this year. You have been tremendous, and I'm looking forward to that same banner that Mike talked about, a championship banner to go up in Phoenix.
Thank you, Cotton. I have to tell you that Paul did make one request this evening. Paul requested that there be no gifts for this special night for him tonight, and asked that in its stead an educational fund be established with the Christian Family Care Agency in the name of his father, Armen Westphal. That has been done, and right now I'd like to ask Jerry Colangelo, the president of the Suns, to make this presentation to Paul to establish that fund in the name of his father, a check for $10,000. Now don't go away, Paul, because as I mentioned, there wouldn't be any real gifts, but I think any of us that have known Paul and traveled with him through the years know that Paul likes games. Paul, here are some games: Monopoly, Balderdash, Jeopardy, Scrabble, Pictionary, Risk, Backgammon, Labyrinth, What's It, Electronic Battleship, NBA Basketball, Toss Across, Scrabble, Wheel of Fortune without Vanna White, and a Ladmo bag. So they're all yours. Paul, congratulations. Your special night, and we thought you might need a few games the rest of the way. Paul Westphal, ladies and gentlemen.
Paul Westphal, the
well, just a few more things, Paul. I know you like ice cream. Well, here's a couple of 100 gallons of ice cream that you can enjoy from now on. Paul is one of the all-time great ice cream and peanut brittle eaters, and I think that'll take care of your ice cream for a while. Oh, are there any spoons? If there are some spoons, we could really have a party here tonight. Now we do have a positive contribution because you made some great contributions to the Suns and to NBA basketball. And we have a gold basketball for Paul. And here it is right now, something that will be on your mantle, and I know you'll enjoy. So that will be Paul's remembrance, and this will be ours as I call your attention to the rafters. Officially, number 44 has been retired forever. Okay, Paul, it's all you.
Thanks very much.
standing ovation continues for the number 4 all-time scorer in Suns history.
This is just a great night for me. I never expected when I played in the NBA that I'd have a night like this. I just feel great about it. It's such a nice honor. And Jerry, thank you for the gift of Christian Family Care. I think that's much better than me getting any presents that they could have given. It's just a really touching gesture on the part of the Suns, and I want to thank Jerry Colangelo and Cotton Fitzsimmons and the whole Suns organization, but particularly Jerry and Cotton, because without them, I'm sure this night wouldn't have happened, and I'm very grateful to them making this happen. I also want to thank both the media and the people of Phoenix for all the great years I've had here. It's just been the best years of my life. Thank you. I'm not going to be able to name the names of all the people I would like to tonight, but certainly all my teammates, particularly Alvin, who did pass me the ball a lot more than Curtis Perry did. But and a heck of a lot more than Truck ever did. But all the guys I played with in Phoenix and throughout the league, and particularly John McLeod, who designed an offense that would help bring out the things I could do, I just want to thank those people. All the coaches that I had in the league. My brother mentioned my father. The only sad thing about this tonight is that he's not here, but I want to thank him. My high school coach, Ken Brown, and of course my brother, who all taught me how to play. And my mother, who didn't make us quit when we killed all our plants. She says that I got all my talent from her, but if I did, I didn't leave her any, because she certainly doesn't have any. But she can sing. I want to say a little word to Howard Slusher, who always was very encouraging to me and only took 75% of all the money I ever made. And it wouldn't be right without having Cindy come up here with me. Come on up here. Yeah. As much as I have said all the nice things and thanked everybody here, nobody has ever been in my corner more than Cindy. And I just want to have her share this day as much as me. Thank you. I think it's about time to get back to the game. I just really thank God for all the friends I've had and the experience I've had here in Phoenix. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sharing this special night with Paul Westphal and his family. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we've had another extended standing ovation for Paul Westphal at number 44, retired in the ceremony you just watched and heard here at Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum this evening. Now they're going to have a 5-minute warm-up period. We'll come back with the halftime stats and a look around the NBA when we continue in a moment. With his quick burst of speed, gets to Chambers, flying jam, 26 points. 83-51. Kevin Johnson against Bowie to the right baseline. Here goes Chambers again. Reverse up, no good, off the left hand this time. 69 points for the Phoenix club record for one season. Charlie Scott holds it, 72-73. He scored 2,049 points. Chambers on pace to get more than halfway there. First free throw good, that gives him 27. All-around record-setting year for Phoenix. They have an outside shot at setting their new team scoring record, but they have to average about 135 points per game the rest of the way. They are capable, though. But that's about 17 over their season average today. Chambers, Hornacek goes the other way to Johnson. Right corner. It's Chambers from 22, and he nails it. Almost a three, and there's 30 for Chambers. 5 of his last 8 games, including tonight, he's had 30. Comegys out. He is replaced by Scott Roth. Chambers driving in on Roth, and that will send him back to the line. Well, for Chambers tonight, it's just whatever he wants to do. If he wants the outside shot, there's no one that can stop him. Nobody 6'10" going to get in his face. And when he drives, is quicker than just about anybody the Spurs have had on him in that defensive aspect. So it's just a matter of how long Fitzsimmons wants to leave him in now, as they lead by 33. He could have 40, he could have 45. Technical foul on Brown now. Tommy Nunez decided he had heard about enough. And Larry is not done yet. Now he's going to plead to a different official, Jake O'Donnell. As Kevin Johnson will replace Chambers on the foul line, and he'll attempt the technical. Johnson, number 7 in the league, 88% at the foul stripe, and he nails this one. Well, not very placated, though, as he takes his seat again. Arguing the call on Robertson's travel, and from what I pick up, Brown is saying that Alvin just caught a ball in midair, came down and set his feet, and never changed the pivot foot. Without being able to hear every word, that would be the interpretation, and Nunez obviously not going along with it. And Chambers hits the first free throw. (91-56). His season high, by the way, 42 points. Second one also good. He has 32 already. 8 points in 3 minutes in the third period. That is how it goes for Tom Chambers. Breaks out of the pack and a long feed underneath to Chambers for 2 more. Timeout, Larry Brown. 6:51 to go. Third period. It's the Suns by 39. 98-59, and 34 points now by 8-year veteran Tom Chambers. Back in a moment. This is Spurs basketball. Tyrone Corbin back in. Ronnie Lott, by the way, in attendance. The outstanding all-pro defensive back of the San Francisco 49ers. Watching another USC ex get honored tonight, Paul Westphal, and Chambers got a feed in the low post, spun into a foul. They'll call this one on Willie Anderson, his second. Each team in the bonus now. Chambers to the line with 34 points, 8 below his season high. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Spurs Basketball Network. Well, Chambers, a little bit like the man we saw last night, Adrian Dantley. If the rule really is enforced that you only get 10 seconds between free throws, they go to the very limit of the letter of the law every time they step up. He's about at 10 right now. Now lets it go, and he hit them both. Kevin Johnson, the man Michael will guard as he lobs to Chambers, edge of the paint, turns over Comegys and locks in 2 more. On a night where he could almost do it blindfolded. 110-73. Fred offense down to 7 seconds, and he is stolen point blank by Kevin Johnson. 4 seconds, he'll drive behind the back flip, and Majerle with a jam. 1 second in the third quarter. Michael Anderson throwing it in. Bowie from midcourt launches and is just short. And a standing ovation for the Suns as we head to the fourth. It is 114 for Phoenix, 76 for San Antonio. This is Spurs basketball. Through 3 quarters, they are at 62% from the field. 44 out of 71. Everybody but the Gorilla has gotten into the act for them tonight. 29-69, 42% by San Antonio. And that ovation, by the way, for the announcement from the LA Sports Arena that the Clippers still lead the Lakers. Last score we had with 8 minutes to go in the third period, 76-65. Clippers over the Lakers. And if both games hold, it's a 1/2 game lead for LA over Phoenix. It away. Kevin Johnson with a steal up the left sideline. Got hooked, but no call. All the way in the left-hand runner. 2 more. 21 for Kevin Johnson. They go with those 20 assists through 3 periods. Done with 10 seconds remaining. In a 134-91 game, they're going for their biggest win ever, and it's Majerle for 3. He's good. With 4 seconds remaining, Dan Majerle's 25th three-pointer of the year, and that will do it. And the Phoenix Suns have their biggest margin of victory in club history. On the night when they retired the number 44 of Paul Westphal, they set some new history. 137-91. They win it by 46, by 3 points. That is their biggest margin of victory in their 22-year history. They are announcing the Laker-Clippers score and the fact that they are only minutes away from being a half game out of first place in the Pacific. 137-91 the final. We'll return in a moment. At the foul line, he did it all in 3 periods. Also 8 rebounds, 4 points below his season high this year. And the leading scorer and rebounder for Phoenix in this resurgent season, Tom Chambers, is our Budweiser MVP.